Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
Caroline, you should tell them about the newest thing that Bloody Happy Hour is doing.
A Patreon.
It's a Patreon. What is that?
That means you're basically like a VIP member, and there's 2 different levels that you can, subscribe to, and you get some perks. You maybe get like merch a little earlier. You get
exclusive merch.
You could get first dibs on signing up for a live show. You get episodes with no commercials.
You get our video because our video is no longer available on YouTube. It is only on Patreon. And the most important to me is you get videos of our live shows. So if you are far away and you couldn't make our last live show, it will be on the website. We're going to record this future live show. It's going to be on Patreon, but also bonus episodes each month. You guys tell us all the time you want more episodes. This is a way for you to get more episodes. So you're going to get our basic Tuesday, Thursdays that we always put out, right? But if you're on a Patreon, you're VIP, you're going to get more.
I can't wait to talk about in detail some more stories because I always have a lot of details I want to go to. I can law-splain. I might read a book.
They just unsubscribed. This is also going to be the exclusive place that Dirty Chat is going to go to. So if that is breaking some of your hearts, just go ahead and subscribe now. In order to hear the full content, it's going to be Patreon. Where do they go again?
Patreon.com/BloodyHappyHour.
Don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
And this is your Bloody Happy Hour. Hello, hello.
Here we are. And we're surviving all the floodings, and we took a boat to record today.
Yeah, we did.
Yep. And you swam.
I actually swam.
Yeah.
And I'm back, and we are sorry for the week hiatus, but, sometimes life gets in the way, but we're back, and we will be back on schedule. So the news for today, I want to cover a local Waco case that has been close to me for the past 16 years. So in 2008, this was my second year in the classroom. Like I was my second year teaching, and I had a teacher's aide who I just loved. I loved her. Her name was Linda Daly at the time. It's Linda Port right now. And I've talked to her about this, and she knows that I'm going to touch this story. Mm-hmm. So I've actually known her since I was in high school, because when I had a part-time job in high school, I was her teacher's aide. Now, in 2008, it was Mother's Day weekend, and I got a phone call in the wee hours of the morning. This was May 9th, 2008. Mm-hmm. Linda, my para, was hysterical. She was telling me that there was an accident and her daughter, Bree, was dead, and it was an alleged hit and run. Oh, shit. Now, Bree was 18 years old at the time, and her boyfriend, James, were at the Mayfest in Bruceville Eddy, which is kind of like our West Fest in West. Mm-hmm. So it's a big yearly thing that they do. And it's like a big drunk fest, but like carnival, concerts, like parties, fair, everything. So they were there, and it's right off I-35. So you just exit, and there's like the big Mayfest right there in Bruceville Eddy. Her and her boyfriend were walking, leaving the Mayfest and walking, and there's this Cefco that's literally right across from the Mayfest. And I think they were just going to grab something from the store, and there was a Bush's Chicken right there.
Oh, yeah.
Now, but they never make it to the Cefco or the Bush's Chicken because a truck comes out of nowhere and tosses them both up into the air. Bree rolls and hits the truck. Like
a truck or 18-wheeler truck?
A truck, just a regular truck. Yeah.
Oh,
and tosses them up. Bree's neck and back were broken. She was 18 years old. Her boyfriend was severely injured, could not walk for a long time, had to do a lot of therapy. But he was fighting for his life for a while, but recovered. Bree died. Now, they had just gotten engaged. It was just young love, and she had just found out she was pregnant. So not only did Bree die, the baby died. The truck that hit her was conveniently reported stolen later that night.
Oh, no.
And then found abandoned about a mile from the scene. Now, witnesses later say that they know whose truck that is. It belongs to Greg McLean and his girlfriend Jackie, and that they were actually seen driving the truck that night, and that they were at Mayfest that night, and they were really drunk.
Okay.
So they were arrested pretty quick, but never, ever, ever indicted. So, like, I guess charges were never really brought. So they're initially brought in for questioning, arrested, but nothing ever really happened with it, ever. And then our DA, which I think was Abel Reyna at the time, threw it out. Linda, my para, the mama, was like, we know who this is. We know it's, like, you have witnesses that say it's these people.
What was it stolen, though?
It was not stolen.
Oh.
So it turns out it was not stolen. They were driving it. So immediately after they got arrested, which really wasn't arrested because there are no charges brought,
right.
They got married. Why do you think they would get married?
Because then you don't have to testify against each other.
Then they got married, and then they just kind of lived a normal life. Well, every time Linda would try to call Bruceville Eddy Police Department, she got the runaround. They just kind of didn't treat this case like it was an important case.
Yeah.
Turns out that McLean's dad, I believe, don't quote me on this.
Was he a police officer?
Well, I was a chief.
Mm-hmm. This sounds familiar.
So, allegedly, police family member told them exactly what they needed to say, what they needed to do so that the case wouldn't really go any further.
Do you know what that was to say, for them to say?
Well, basically say that it was stolen. Tell them that you drove your other car that night. Tell them that you don't know where the cars are. And I think they even, like, wiped down, like, DNA in there. Linda said that she would come on the podcast and kind of tell us some more about the case. But just kind of groomed them and told them what to say. And the case did get dropped. The DA just threw it out. Like, okay. But and years and years and years went by. We got a new DA. But the cold case, McLennan County cold case, see, they don't have to get permission from anybody to pick up these cases. McLennan County cold case, and that's why a lot of times the police departments and the cold case units do not get along, because if the police departments can't solve it and the cold case units do, either police departments
They're like, don't be digging up the stuff we're trying to hide.
Or, oh, you make me look bad because we tried to solve it and we couldn't.
And now a word from our sponsors. Hey, I'm Blair.
And I'm Brittany. And we're the host of
By the Cover Podcast.
We cover everything from mysteries, thrillers, romance, chick lit, and even some smut.
Don't forget the smut.
Yeah.
We're so excited to get this thing going and share this with you guys. We've been talking about this for months, and it's finally happening.
Yes.
Special shout out to Rogue Media for helping us with this.
For sure. For sure. You can find us on Instagram at bythecover_podcast.
You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok, so don't forget to give us a follow on those two also.
And we are so excited to dive into some of our favorite books and share those with you.
We can't wait. Hope you love it.
Step into the unexpected with Cultastic, or How to Start a Cult Without Really Trying. A podcast where cult creation unfolds in the most unpredictable way. Join us on a unique journey into the world of theoretical cult formation. Unlike any other podcast, each episode of Cultastic is co-written in part using ChatGPT, and we let it decide our fate, good or bad. What makes Cultastic truly intriguing? We don't know what's coming each week. Together with our AI co-author, we'll discover and build this cult, one episode at a time, exploring various aspects of cult dynamics, leadership, and group psychology. Delve into themes of charisma, influence, and the power of group thinking. It's a blend of expert analysis, theoretical exploration, and the unforeseen twists of AI-generated ideas. Remember, Cultastic is an exercise in imagination and education where we weave a narrative one episode and one tenant at a time. Curious about where this journey will take us? Subscribe to Cultastic or How to Start a Cult without really trying on your favorite podcast platform or at roguemedianetwork.com. Let's build this mission to save the people of Earth, week by unpredictable week.
Hi, this is Sarah,
And I'm Carter.
and this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're two Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and vinyl. So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
So there's always not good collaboration
Yes.
between them. So McLennan County Cold Case Unit picked it up, and Terry Fuller was on that case for a while until he retired. And Linda called weekly for 16 years. Just did not let them forget about it. And they did not forget about it. And so there was, this whole time they knew who did it. They just didn't really have the evidence to kind of prove it to them. So finally, on May 10th, 2024, they pled guilty to manslaughter.
What?
And failure to stop and render aid. He was sentenced to 4 years because he was the driver. And his wife now, Jackie, that was a passenger, is trying to get probation. But they're doing like a whole hearing and everything for that. So that just
4
happened.
years.
4 years. And I was like,
You
freaking
get more
Tammy.
years if you have an ounce of bud on you.
I was like, Tammy what
Oh,
was her name? What was her name?
Tammy.
Blankenship.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just
got guilty.
at least, well, she's going to get at least 5, but she got 10.
Yeah.
Or she'll do at least 10, I guess. But where she screwed up is she tried to lie about it this whole time, and she went to trial. They're like, okay, I did it. They're pleading guilty before it really like goes anywhere. And so I guess they're getting a better deal. So the family does finally get some justice because they were able to be at the courthouse when they pled guilty and got to see him get shackled and get handcuffed. And so there was articles that were out. They were on the news all last week. She sent me like the newest article. But what she still doesn't know is how long they actually sat out there, because they were hit and it was like late at night. If they would have called police immediately, would Bree had lived? Because they just left and abandoned the vehicle.
I know. Like they just left the car. What did they, like, run away?
The dead bodies there. No, they kept driving. So it was a hit and run. They kept driving the truck deeper into somewhere else in the area and then abandoned the truck. Now, did they go pick up their other car and drop off the truck and then go and report it stolen? I don't know, but they set it all up when they really could have stopped, rendered aid, called 911, and it might not have been a murder, manslaughter, like hit and run. That's 2 lives. So, and then they're not even acknowledging that Bree was pregnant. So the mom is always, Linda's just always like, I wonder, like, did she sit out there and suffer? Did she die? You can't think about those things, but you just probably can't help but think about those things.
Oh,
so 16 years ago is when that happened. And it's finally getting the case closed.
How did they know where, like, what the truck, like, was it on video, you said, or how did they?
There were, Mayfest was right there. There were eyewitnesses, their description of the truck, and James did not die.
Yeah.
So he was hit, but he wasn't hit as bad as Bree was. So I believe he saw like the type of truck too. Plus there was like a store right there, so there might have been some footage at the store. I don't know, but like we're not going to get all those details because it's not really going to trial. But wow, yeah, I was kind of glad to see that kind of tied up in a bow. And let's go to Pennsylvania. I just want to say out there, be careful who you move in with or who you let move into your house.
Why? Why would you need,
Lehigh County,
if you
Pennsylvania.
need some extra cash, just let a roommate in.
Yeah, did we see a whole series on Netflix called The Roommates about that?
Maybe.
Horrible roommates. Okay. Let's talk about a guy. His name is David Hittinger. He was reported missing on Monday, May 13th, because on Monday, May 11th was his birthday, and he had big plans of going to hang out with a bunch of his friends. But he never showed up to his own birthday party, basically. And his friends were like, oh, this is a little weird. This is unlike him.
Not showing up.
So after they had talked to him, like after a day or so, they ended up calling it in. It was reported missing. So the police ended up finding out that he had just moved in with a guy named Joshua Moser, Moser. Because his house had just burned. So he was living with a friend, temporarily.
This is the 4th story I've heard about a house burning within like the past 2 weeks.
Oh.
Burning down.
Yeah.
But
is there a dead body inside?
No.
Oh.
But I'm just thinking maybe it's from all the rain and lightning and people's houses are getting hit by lightning.
Could be. I don't.
Because I was listening to a podcast this past week, and within 1 week, 2 people wrote into that podcast about how their house burned down.
Oh, wow.
And then we have our
Oh, it's scary.
listener friend, shout out,
What?
Casey.
What happened?
Her house burned down. Casey Turner.
No.
Yes. We love you, Casey.
Oh, I didn't know that. How?
Struck by lightning.
Oh,
They were
my
all
goodness. And then what happened? So they all just got
home. It
out?
got out. It's gutted. It completely gutted.
Oh, my God. It's a big, beautiful home.
Yes.
I had no idea. But I haven't watched the news. I've
I
kind
know.
of been out
and
of it.
She was, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Casey.
Yep.
Ooh,
If there-
that's scary. That makes you
I
second
know.
guess every
And
single.
I-
What was
and
I saying? What was I doing? Lord, why were you?
Well, I
that's
know,
where
but
I go.
so I found out and I texted her and I was like, oh my gosh, like, and I was like, my house has been struck by lightning before, but it just, because it I thought it was, I got shot or something. Or like, it sounded like a loud shot.
Yeah.
But it just, like my light sockets went out and then like my TVs, a couple TVs were blown. But it was, nothing happened to me. It was fine, but it's just like that's just crazy how that happens.
And it caught all the way on fire.
Yes. So I think with all the storms that we've had lately here, I mean, we've had a shit ton of storms and there's been a ton of lightning. And so, yeah, that just triggered that. So, yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to listener Casey and family.
Damn. So he was living with this guy named Moser. And so the police get a search warrant and they want to go check Moser's house because this is obviously where Hittinger lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're searching the house on May 14th. So timeline is May 11th, he didn't show up to his birthday. May 13th, he was reported missing. May 14th, police are there searching the residence. And while they're there, they found blood evidence, hair, skin, in the basement and in the bathtub. They search all that day. Search warrant for the next day. They see a saw, a box cutter, bloody clothing, and other great evidence that shows a murder. Now, on this
he
is the
murdered him
15th.
and then he burnt the house down.
No, Hittinger was living with him because Hittinger's house had burned down. He was going to live with Mosier because he was without a home right now.
Got it.
So they also found out that he was arrested for parole violation because he was on parole for another charge, and I'll tell you that in a second. But then they found some of Hittinger's remains in several trash bags in a cemetery in a town near there. And then they found additional body parts on a trail and in a quarry. So this guy, who I would think would be his friend, because you chose to go live with this guy at a low point in your life, right?
Yeah.
And
the guy wanted to eat him. Okay, continue.
And he just chopped him up. Well, we still don't know a motive yet, but
He was bored?
chopped him up, scattered his body in a quarry, in trash bags, in a cemetery, all around. And then
Chandler
didn't he clean up the
Halderson.
mess?
Chandler Halderson up in here. What? Is he...
But there's an autopsy to determine the cause of death.
Great.
What? So Mosier did say that he choked Hittinger and then hit him over the head with a hammer during an argument.
Well, they must have been doing some kind of weird drugs.
I don't know.
I don't know, unless they were boyfriends. And they're
But that's overkill.
well, I know, but maybe he hit on him And then he turned him down, and he got real mad because then he's like, well, now I'm embarrassed, so I'm just going to kill him.
Kill you.
He went to the extreme. And then he's like, you know what? Actually, I'm going to chop you up. Because
I love how all your solutions to every crime is either drugs or sex related.
Usually is, though. It usually is.
Drug or sex related. I know.
I mean,
They
that's
all
where
are.
everybody's brain goes to because that's what
happens.
I mean. What
Don't do drugs.
What is it? Porn, drugs, alcohol, all the things I do on a daily basis. Why about auto murder? You're welcome.
So, anyways, he was actually sentenced in 2017 for 3 to 10 years for killing a 24-year-old while he was driving under the influence. Now, will they say under the influence if it's alcohol too? Or will they say driving while DUI, DWI, while intoxicated? Like under the influence, it makes me wonder, like, could it be another drug?
Yes, it could be another drug. Yeah.
So, just don't move into anybody's basement, I think, is the moral of that story.
Basements, if
There's
anybody
nothing
has
goes wrong.
no, because your first two stories that you've just told have connected me both back to Karen Reed trial.
Oh.
Because Crooked Cop and basements.
Oh, yeah.
Both of those are coming into play in the trial. And I am waist deep in this trial. Okay?
Stay away from both basements and crooked popos. All right, let's go to Louisiana for my last story. It's actually Houston-ish, but it's Louisiana. It originated in Louisiana.
Okay.
So, Louisiana couple was arrested in connection with the attempted murder investigation of a 15-year-old girl, which came to light during a traffic incident investigated by Baytown Police Department. So, Louisiana couple. So, these people lived in Terrebonne Parish in Louisiana.
Okay.
And their names are LaToya Harris and Terrence Washington. So they were driving in Baytown, Texas, so that's Houston area, erratically. And so people here in Texas called the police because they were driving so erratically. And when they were pulled over, there was a man with a gun, and there was a 15-year-old in the seat that was burned and shot and hurt and fighting for her life.
Oh. That's
She
a lot of things.
suffered severe injuries. Now, she did not die. There was also another minor, so it was a 15-year-old. No. So the 15-year-old and then a minor child and then the two adults. They were all in this car, okay? Another minor child. So the minor child tells the story, and they're questioning the mom. LaToya Harris is the mom, and Terrence Washington is her boyfriend. And Terrence is questioned, and he ends up telling the story that, he did shoot the 15-year-old girl, back in February.
Okay.
But they were treating the wounds at home.
That's
And that she was burned, but they were treating those wounds at home too.
Yeah.
But he didn't burn her. Mm-mm. He was having sex with her, sexually assaulting her.
As one would.
But when mom found out, she got pissed.
It's a
So
little overaction, but
she stood over her 15-year-old daughter's body with some alcohol and a lighter and lit her daughter's body on fire. So she was shot in February, not dead. She was burned, and then she was shot again, and this one girl is still alive, but she has lost half of her face. She's lost an eyeball.
oh,
She is living right now. They showed this video on the news.
where are these people? These parents? where?
They're arrested, and she's living with family now. They've been arrested.
Jesus, take the wheel.
She's
Why do
living
they?
with other family, but they showed this little girl like in a video. I think she's in a little scooter because she can't really get around, or like in a little wagon riding around. And she's got like this brace on this arm, and it's like this girl is a trooper, missing an eye, and her face is disfigured.
Oh my God.
And so the aunt was just like, when she is able to tell her story, you guys are going to know how hard she fought for her life.
Oh my God.
So the sexual assault had been going on for months.
Oh no.
And because she was raped, her mom thought that it was her fault and needed to hurt her and continuously hurt her. So I don't know what they're going to Baytown for. Were they leaving Louisiana? There was some domestic disturbances, like police was called. So were they leaving because of what they'd done? I don't know, but they're driving erratically with a gun in the car, so I would just have to think that they were fighting. And it was probably going to get worse if they had not got intercepted by the police.
Oh my gosh. What is wrong with people?
What is wrong
I hate
with people?
people.
I hate a bitch that will turn on their kids behind a man. That's not even your husband. Like, you were that lonely and
Madeline
that thirsty.
Soto?
Yes.
Behind a man. We all would sleep in the same bed together. And sometimes when I had to go to work, they slept together and they just snuggled because he needed skin to skin. Bitch, that's called
he's not an
rape.
infant. Wait, how old was Madeline?
13.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah.
I hate a weak bitch.
She's not even in jail yet or arrested. Why are they taking so long?
I don't know.
I don't either. I can't even watch it until I know.
And then that's really it. Well, I want to cover Micah Miller in depth because there's so much.
Yeah, you got to do it.
So maybe that's going to be like a Patreon episode. But it gives you Chad Daybell and Lori Daybell vibes. It gives you David Koresh vibes. It gives you Matt Baker vibes. It gives you like all the worst wannabe religious.
Did you see the video of him laying on the ground in the grass doing whatever the hell he was doing, whining like a little bitch baby?
Yes. Oh. Having a full mental breakdown. But
yeah, and that was like, what,
crazy.
a month before?
Yeah.
That was like a month ago or a month before she killed herself or whatever happened. He convinced her to kill herself. Let me add, Corey Richins, she's the one who wrote the book. Her husband died. She writes a book because they have 2 or 3 kids about how to grieve when your father dies or whatever. And it turns out she actually allegedly poisoned him with fentanyl.
Yes.
She's been awaiting her trial, and they were having a hearing this past week. Well, there's this whole letter. She wrote this letter called Walk the Dog, and her family, like, she wrote a letter to a family basically telling them, like, okay, this is what you need to say, and, my attorney is, like, not really doing what I want her to do, and blah, 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 and, like, basically they're under the bus, and then, well, her attorneys were finally like, fuck you, bitch, and they quit.
Oh, good.
I know.
Good.
I know. Because this chick she's the one who was like, y'all can just sneak some Crest White Strips in because I'm drinking a lot of coffee and my teeth are not looking white enough on TV. Yeah. So they what did they say? Irreconcilable differences.
100%. Like, you're on trial for murder, and that's what you're worried about?
The defense team said that the prosecutors, listened to the jail calls between them that they weren't allowed to. I don't know, but I think it's all this. She is the common denominator. She's the one who did it all. Also, can we talk about P. Diddy and the video that came out of him beating the shit out of Cassie?
Ooh,
which,
that was bad.
Listen.
Statute of limitations, they can't do nothing about it.
I know, which is so stupid, but I kind of love that he was all about, like, first of all, the allegations came out, or she filed her lawsuit. Very next day, he pays her off, and then all these other ones come out, and then he's like, oh, I didn't do these things, and I'm this person, and these are all just allegations, and blah, blah, blah. And then once the video comes out, you're going to have this stupid-ass apology video that nobody is even, like,
Yeah.
Sir. And then the hotel, he paid the hotel off $50,000 to not release the video.
That's it.
So I
It is
hope.
horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah. Oh, and the Kentucky, what was it? The Oklahoma and.
Oh, the moms.
Yeah, the two moms who they were going to, they drove to Oklahoma doing the custody. Well, the one was the mom, one was like the supervisor.
Yeah.
We found out this week that they were actually buried in a freezer.
I saw that today with a bunch of belongings, their personal belongings in the freezer with them. Like bloody pants.
Like, how? See, I didn't see all that. But I was like, you obviously dug this deep a freezer. It ain't a small freezer.
A chest. Like a chest size,
So
like those deep freezers.
If you're burying a freezer, how long you had to? You clearly thought about this to dig this big ass hole for a freezer,
Grandma.
But that makes you think okay, they got caught because they brought the phones there and stuff. Like they traced their phones. That's where because it was in the middle of nowhere. So there's probably a ton of people in the whole world out in the desert in a buried hole in a freezer.
Or just in a hole. Yes.
Otherwise, people would have been like, we don't know what happened.
Yeah.
It's not 2 cents.
I wonder how they found them. Somebody came forward. One of the
No,
kids
I think
came
it was
forward.
the phone. I think they traced because they bought these 4 burner phones, and they all had burner phones, and I think that's how they found where they were because they traced
found disturbed ground.
Yes, and yes.
I remember one of them asking to borrow a excavator. So they knew that they were digging. They knew they were going to be in the home. One of them borrowed an excavator from one of their clients or something.
I'm telling you.
Oh, there's your longie for today. We will see y'all Thursday for a full episode. Where are we going?
Where are we going? We are going to California.
Cali, Cali, Cali. Don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
Goodbye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.